Hey team, so Anton here from the Guinea Group. Thanks for joining in if you are already. Bronx, so we love the Bronx up here. I've got a brother who's a mad keen Broncos. He bought the only ticket to the slide event. He got bought at work.
That's about how football we are.
That's right. So this one goes out to Joe Guinea, and I know he's going to love this. So Joey, if you're tuned into this, please shoot some questions through, and anyone else that tunes in, please shoot some questions through. Casey McGuire.
Yeah, so we're lucky enough to have these three boys come up to Glasson for the next 2 days. So the whole idea of our department here with the Broncos is to get out to the schools, the local rugby league as well, and just basically to the kids, promoting them healthy lifestyle, chasing their goals, that sort of thing. So we're doing over the 2 days. We've got 8 schools we're going to get to. We're doing a big coaching clinic tonight. We're hoping we're having over 100 kids out there at Tannum Sand. So really appreciate the boys come up here.
Is there 100 people in the tent? It's not Glaston, we're going to Tannum Sand.
So we'll get the boys set up at
Actually, that tells me we've got surf view. Is that
Ocean View.
Ocean View.
Ocean View. Boys, nothing but the best. Chocolate big tonight, eh? And we'll take them out for dinner.
Very good.
So I appreciate you putting on the wraps today. That's going to be great, the boys. But so really excited about showcasing our region, I suppose. They've been to a couple of schools already, and the kids have been engaged. The boys walk in with a Broncos shirt, they seem to sit up and listen, and the guys got some great messages. So a great opportunity today just to talk about their experience and their programs, I suppose, down south. They got some great sponsors as well that support that program. I'll be able to quick shout out to them.
Hey, you're on the same time.
We're not getting the same chance this time, mate. No.
Sorry, Mrs. Guinea.
This is a guinea pig, yes, honestly.
Definitely St. John's for the
Next
next trip, yeah, definitely. So I really appreciate the boys up here, and it's just great that the Broncos support. Not just in Brisbane, we get out. Obviously, Central Queensland, we're up Darwin, Adelaide. We get out. We're trying to grow the game regularly, and also sending the kids out, better kids out in the community. So that's what it's all about.
And Casey, you had a game on Saturday night out of Blackwater.
Had a game on Saturday night. Yep. So after about 10 minutes, realised why I'm happy to be retired. It was really good fun.
So you took it out of the package of jersey and then put it straight back on.
I played in the dead suit, I'll be honest. I didn't get tackle too much. Got to play with Petro again. Got to see Petro. Ben Hannett, a few of the other boys from Broncos. Matty Bowen was in our team. He's still got it. John Doyle. So that was fantastic. Great for the town. We raised a little bit of money out there for Nathan Turner's family, and also just a few of the junior clubs. So a bit of fun.
Good on you, bro. Good luck tonight. And here's a story for you, Trev. This is unbelievable. Wayne Bennett came here to do what you are doing now. Like when I was 10, Chanel cultivated Wayne Bennett before he was a coach. So lads, so for anyone that doesn't know, and you will, Mick Hancock, Matt Gillett, Darren Burns, Casey McGuire, we might actually start on this side. We might start with Mick.
Yes. Joe, how are you, buddy? Anyway.
Good on you, mate. Massive fan. He's okay. I won't say that I like the rabbits.
It's all right.
And here's another story for you. You remember when you used to have cows on your shirt?
Yep.
I was at school with Powers Bruins kids, Amon. So shout out to Amon Power, by the way. So yeah, and he went through nudging. Where did you live? What many of you boys go through boarding school?
No.
I didn't board that the day to day.
I was bored at school, but I wasn't.
So Mick, leadership and life, bro. So normal question, best coach and why?
Different, I suppose. Wayne is the best. As in, I think most people, whether it's business, whether it's sporting, I think why he's been successful over a long period of time is because he cares. And care is a big thing, because I think if a leader shows compassion, that then the players tend to buy in. They care. It's like any kid society that we live in at the moment. It's a changing world. A lot of people don't really care about anything. It's all about themselves. So some coaches always want to, put all the premierships written on their shirt all the time. That becomes about them. When their responsibility is to care about all the kids under their care. You know what I mean? So if they take the time to care and go through the process, they'll naturally win. You know what I mean? But it's all about winning. It then becomes all about them. how they pick a team, how they select a team, whether that's in business or whatever. But if you care about every individual, they tend to buy in, and then they tend to care, and they'll go the whole 9 yards. Whether it be like if you finish at 5, people don't care. They'll finish at 5 and walk out the door. If they care, they'll stay extra half an hour. Don't care whether they get paid or not, because that's the care factor. Because you've shown that, and they'll want to repay that. Yeah, correct.
And it's like Mick, what you said then, is the winning is the outcome.
Yep.
You're caring for humans.
Yeah.
And this is.
But you don't have to say the word winning.
No.
Because they'll just do it through their processes. You go through the process of teaching the kid or creating an environment that they like to come to. You know, you get out of your car, whether it's work, whether it's a sporting thing. You can't wait to get to work. Hey, I've got one of those jobs. I can't wait to put this uniform on. Yes, we come last year. Kids are pretty cruel when we go to schools. They let us know. But it's still, that's part of the job. We've got to put up with that. But again, I've got one of those jobs, and I'm sure all the other boys that have been doing it for a long time, Darren's second behind me, that we've been doing it for a long time. And if we didn't care, we wouldn't be still in the job.
Absolutely.
So, like Arthur Beecham was another one, and we put Wayne and Arthur together, like skill-wise. If you look at the way their teams play, there's very basic simplicity, so they all understand. Number one, whether it's young or old, they understand what their roles and responsibilities are when they got their job and when they're doing their job. You confuse them, right? You give them all this jargon about trying to change the wheel, and they then get confused, and they go away and they feel obligated to go and do it. So, for instance, if I was going to say to a young guy starting a job, say, right, there's a forklift over there, I need you to move that pallet and put it over there. No one's ever taught him. There's a chance that he's going to stuff it up, he's going to hurt someone, if not someone else himself. So if you spend the time to teach him, right, that's a process. And rugby league is the same. If we can't teach kids how to play the game, their safety then is in jeopardy. So some kids aren't blessed with just an outward nature, go out there and just play. Some are very shy, so they want to be confident, and how they get the confidence is knowing how to do something and how to do it well. So, but Arthur and Wayne, as coaches, very simplicity, but the way they talk and the way they cared, you just want to go out and die from. They're very two strong people when it comes to caring about all the players and that surround them. Arthur's great. Leader with Indigenous people. Everyone loved him. Everyone listening to him. But those two coaches, they were just great leaders.
Love it, Nick. Thanks for sharing.
All good, mate.
Angela, mate, leadership in life. Best captain.
Ooh.
The question for you. Coach, best captain.
Actually, good. Thanks for a few boxes.
Yeah. Towards the back end there. A few captains at the club, but I was just thinking then, I thought that question was going to come my way.
Good.
Yeah, I can't go past Cameron Smith. Obviously didn't play with him at a club level, but I've represented Queensland and Australia under him. He's sort of the influence on the game where he's almost a coach, but he's still playing the game as well. But definitely can't go past him. Reason for I suppose my first Origin debut game. Obviously, he came into camp 10 days before he actually played, and I was obviously shit myself and coming into such a successful team and being pretty shy and pretty set back a little bit from the group, but we sat down and it was like our first sort of meal together, and after that meal, Smitty come over and what Mick just touched on there, showed me that he cared for me. We sat down for about 45 minutes. Nothing about footy. It was all about just who I am. Family, showing me that care, and for me that was a big thing. And leading on from that, anything he said, and from that straight away, I sort of, I wanted to do the right thing by him. He's my captain. He showed me that time, and that care factor, which is a big thing that I believe in as well. The person that he was, so. At training, I think he said to do, I do it straight away.
Wasn't he a big talker, Gillett?
Yeah, he was. He was like I said before. He was.
I'm just saying, different leaders leaders like to talk and communicate with their players, engage them.
Yeah,
Alf wasn't a big communicator, but he led by his actions. There's different leaderships on how they do things. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, it was probably 50-50 on both.
And what was Lockie like?
Lockie was like, for me, I was probably 2 years there with him. I when I first came in, again, I think he was more of a leader on the field, more than talking. We can't hear him a bit too much with his voice, but he definitely led by his actions. And for me, as a young player coming into that Broncos side, and so Cameron Smith definitely out there, and anything he did on the field, or I just straight back on before the park.
And what I heard was that he took the time out to know about, not just talk about those mixes, and just talk about footy. So Kieran actually understand you as a human being.
Yeah, straight away that brings me into and what he's putting out on buying into.
Absolutely, mate. It's really hard to leave people who just talk and work all the time.
Yeah,
You've got to think with humans in their hearts, right? And what drives them, so that then you can actually help them meet their needs as a player, or as a human, as a forklift driver, or as a truck.
We like sort of Michael, a dictatorship, like Gillett. But everyone bought into it early. Everyone wanted to do anything for him, but after a while they thought, well, that's not great. And then you've got other people that engage their people to be their own leaders. But I think it's a bit, you've got to have bits of a lot of things to be a good leader.
He's very calm too.
Was he? Cameron was
on the footy paddock. I think seemed to face him, but always in that calm front and good. As a player, a young bloke coming through, getting led by him, that transfers me as well.
Yeah, they're a good voice too.
Not really, man. Just pretty down the road, but you expected.
Alfred did do
You expected
Did he?
Yeah.
And I remember reading Wayne's book, and the one thing I took away from it was the 1%. And I it was literally that book. The 1% was right, and everything else will take care of itself. And Jules, my wife, has just done Cameron's book, so she get read this, you gotta read this.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
It's really, on fire.
Good stuff. I was at 400. Just had a bit more than that. That was pretty special.
Never gonna happen again.
No, I know. How do you play 400 games of rugby league?
Number one, let's start.
All you blokes knocked around. What have you got? Busted legs and shoulders. You're Matt's not. Nick, you're right.
I'm over things
Oh,
up. That's about it. You think I'd be cricketer.
There's a couple of knuckles actually. In winter time they ache a bit, but no,
You're good.
I enjoy training out more than when I play. Yeah. So I make sure I keep training for that reason.
Of course.
Because once you stop, it's hard to get back in.
Absolutely.
So just keep on training.
Absolutely. And I was telling all the boys before this that I do Ironman triathlon. So, I'm actually going overseas. So I'm going to have to get a jab to race in the States.
Hawaii?
No, well, trying.
Oh.
So that's the full Ironman World Champion.
Yeah.
The half Ironman World Champion.
Okay.
Utah, St. George.
Okay.
Represent our fine country, which is really good. Casey McGuire. You know all the questions, bro. So, leadership in life. So the one thing that I really connect and talking heart to heart, you were really open this night when I had an idea, which is really good. So we've got a bit of everything. And you said,
This video could get good at that easy.
Now, Casey was really open about what it meant to go from professional football to like life. And I was really intrigued by that because you hear about it, and for someone like you, just to see having beer to actually talk about what it meant. And then I remember you saying you had this moment where you went, you know what? I've got all these skills. I've learned so much playing.
Yeah, definitely. So, I went straight out of school, straight into full-time football at Parramatta Hills. So, basically had my week of schoolies and then straight into full-time training. So I never had a real job, I suppose, until played 16 seasons, 32 rolled around, time to retire. I felt like I had no skills, but you just sort of don't realise all the skills you pick up along the way. Like we've basically done a 16-year apprenticeship under amazing mentors like Wayne Bennett, Craig Bellamy. All those sort of guys, you learn all these skills that you take into the workplace, and it probably took me a few years to realise that I had those skills. So a bit of a hard transition, and I suppose that's what we talk to the kids about now. Mick talks about it a lot about the percentage of kids that actually go on to play professional sport is very, very low. So it's just really important that they have that plan B, and we're not just teaching them the rugby league skills, we're teaching them skills that can succeed in life. So. And Matt just made some great points about leadership qualities, I suppose. Yeah, it's really for our town here, I suppose. Anyone looking to go in for a leading hand or a supervisory role, there's some great tips, look at some qualities. Yeah,
those skills.
Definitely, yeah. So
and I love the fact that if we care and we connect with other humans all of a sudden, we become people who want to be followed, people want to follow, right?
Yeah, 100%. Cameron, obviously Cameron Smith, he was relatable to the boys, but sort of that level where they respect him, and it's like that sort of coach role. And I suppose if you're going to have a leading hand, you want to go you trust that that the boys respect and put in a little bit extra and make sure the job gets done. So
Well, once you've done the job for Cameron and Wayne, once you've implemented that, there's no leader anymore. Everyone's leader. Everyone will just do their job. That's what's expected of them. So we're going to have successful. So that's the goal, whatever it might be. If everyone buys in, everyone's got. This is the thing about a team, how it works. Everyone's got to know their place within that team. Right? So Alf, for instance, is our leader. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot of the time. So he respects the ball, he gets paid the more money. We used to call it the cake. He got the majority, the rest of us got the crumbs. So that's, But again, I had my chance to get my money, and I'm happy with that. This is where I sit. I don't touch the ball as much. But for him to be successful as a leader, I've got to play my part. I've got to do my job. If I don't do mine, he's not successful, and then all of us aren't successful. So everyone within that team has a role and has a job to do, and you've got to do it to the best of your ability.
And what I heard then, Nick, was strong leaders probably create other strong leaders in the team.
Yeah.
Strong leaders don't create, good people, they create more leaders.
Yes.
Because as you lead, other people want to follow you too.
That's exactly right.
So,
And feeling comfortable that they feel part of that team, and feel comfortable that they can contribute, as in, if there's a problem, right, we've got to solve it, and we're going to solve it together. But if we've all got ideas, throw them forward. Because if someone sits back and I don't understand, but you might have the best idea. So if you don't throw it forward, how's anyone ever going to know? But you've got to feel comfortable in that environment that you and the leader, the boss or whoever it might be, gives you the platform for you to do that. Without getting critical. Does that make sense?
Parent your employees, they know their role better than anyone.
Yeah.
Have the courage to speak up.
That's
they feel valued.
We spoke about today, didn't we? We spoke a couple of times about, if you're part of a team, you need to show leadership.
Oh, absolutely.
And the easiest way to show leadership is displaying the value you can bring to that team, which we call value adding. So what value do you add to the team? By just adding the value, which is knowing your job. If you're on the wing or you're the centre or forward, you know your job. Just by doing your job, you are value adding, which obviously will make that team a better team.
Well, it's like a business now trying to be all front receptionists. If they're an absolute cow, they're the person that's the first contact that you get. So if they're not a good person playing their part, they're not the CEO, but their first contact, it's exactly the same. Right? If you get a good response, you go, wow, how good is that? It's like us when we go to schools. If the kids are good, we can't wait to get back there.
Yeah, that's right.
But if they play up and they're misled and all that sort of stuff, we go, no. So but that happens, and not all the time. But the majority of the kids are great. Like I said, you want to be part of them. But like I said, if they can be led well, and engaging and allow them to contribute.
And it's funny, Nick, and what Darren just said then too, because we're actually a walking reflection of our value system. Like, I looked at you guys turning up, and you just epitomise. You wear it with pride. You look like you're here to play football, and you turn up. You're prepared. You're dressed. When you show that sort of community, where your heart, or your business, or your chest. It makes a difference. There's people that don't actually.
100%.
You're the captain or not.
We talk about being like your personal brand is always on display. Like you're a walking billboard by your actions and your behaviours. You'd be surprised who knows you, who's watching you. And we talk to kids at school about their personal brand, and they sort of they get a little confused about what we're actually talking about sometimes. So we just say, well, think of your teacher right now. If they write a paragraph about you, what would be in that 4 or 5 sentence paragraph, 4 or 5 line paragraph? Are they writing good things? Well, if they are, you've obviously got a good brand. They're writing not so good things or poor things, that you don't listen, you're late for class, you're always in trouble, you're a distraction. Well, your brand's poor, and you're a reflection on the school.
Can we remember that for Mum's Month? That's a great, man. That would be a great one for a teacher to share with the kids. What would I write about you?
Exactly. That's the simplest way I try to explain to kids. You just think of it. When you go to high school, obviously, and this is a bit of a test when we talk about competing. You go to high school, you have 7 or 8 different teachers. You love your PE teacher because he coaches footy. You love your English teacher, probably not an English teacher, but different. But I don't like a maths teacher, So kids choose to compete. I'm going to compete at PE because I like it. I'm not going to compete at maths because I don't like it. Well, that's just making it about yourself, which means you're not being a team player. You're not just because you add value there, you're not adding that. Well, that cancels each other out. Like, you're not a team player, so. Don't pick and choose when you compete. Just compete. It doesn't mean getting an A in maths. Just sit there and shut up.
Yeah.
Don't be a distraction. Just bring a pen and a book. At least open the book up. But some kids won't even do that, and they wonder why in 10 years' time they haven't enjoyed
We
it.
do that when we get players come to our club as players. You don't go to mum and dad's because they're going to give a glowing report, as always. Coach, always going to give them a glowing report. Like we always go to the schools, number one. But don't go to the schools, don't go to the ones they like again. You go to the one thing that they don't like, is maths, and then you ask that teacher and go, okay, what's Johnny like in class? And then you'll get to know the real person.
Wow.
It's easy to get the glowing reports of the people that love them or care about them, but do the things that they don't like doing the most and what they're going to do, So it's easy for when teacher, boss, or coach out front, we always toe the line, right? Because there's someone in charge. It's what you do when they're not there, because that's the type of person, character you show.
Some of those kids, all we're talking about football players now, they all love being on the field, obviously.
Of course, that's the thing, right?
And that's fine. They've got that bit down pat.
Yeah.
But it's their off-field stuff they haven't got down pat. And that's the maths teacher we talk to because they don't like maths. But if we get them better here, well then they'll make them even better on the field. So they've got to, put all their eggs in one basket. I guess thinking, oh right, I'm good at football. I'm a good football player. I walk into high school thinking I'm top shit because I can play football. Who really cares? Let's fix this up as well. And just might even make you better on the field, which could lead to an NRL career.
And just imagine, Darren, if every kid had that attitude that I've got to learn how to get on with the teacher that I don't like. What are people skills? But it's easy to get on with people that like, right? And we taught the kids, so our boys only had 2 rules growing up. So if you walk the first one, get adults like it and treat them like princesses. So get adults to like it. So even as a kid, work out people's, learn to be likeable, which is what I was trying to say. And Zach and as a real estate agent now, so he picked those skills up.
So people don't like you now, Zach.
You sell houses, not cars.
Well, same thing. They're trying to put something on it.
Our client didn't hear that. And Zach is working for one of our best mates. So we took the kids out and said, hey, you're not seeing not hurt, you're coming out. And so my mate's got to know our boys, and all of a sudden when he got to 17, he said, I need to make some money with this lady. He was people skills. And then the other one was treatment.
That's building relationships.
Maybe that's what it's all about, and that's what real estate is. That's what business is.
100%.
Well,
life's a big
there's
network.
University of California. They did a study on kids leaving school. Right, so they followed them after they finished school, and then they had to go into the workforce about trying to get a job. Right, so they interviewed 1,000 of them, and then what they did was they interviewed the employer at the end of it. What makes you put the people in the yes basket or people in the no basket? Right, and he said, well, we made our decision on who was going to be in the yes pile in the first 7 seconds. Right, so first 7 seconds, you're not talking about your resume, what you did at school, right? It's how you walk in the door, how you present yourself. We talk about it all the time. It's your personal brand, how you look, how you act. And that's on show every single time. Because we'll get to the other stuff. I can teach you. It's like everyone here today. If I was going to have a rugby league, I don't care whether you play rugby league. If you're a good person, the other part I can teach you. I can't teach you how to be a good person. I can help you, but it's usually too late by then. So the other stuff when you come for an interview.
Because they say think we hire for attitude and 2 skills, right? And it's good at attitude, right?
Yeah.
When you talk just about leadership and life, I've got a tough question for you boys, and it's just something I'm going to go down with this one. And Mick mentioned it before, the club had a tough year last year, and I always say to guys like Casey, and it sucks for the coach. The coach gets whipped when the team goes bad. The team that work, the players get it great. So leadership's tough at times, and we coach a lot of leaders in town. We say you've got to give your teams a rap, so you don't get the credit as a leader, and that's the coach's. That's their quandary. Then they go bad, and the coach gets sacked. If it was you, Darren, what would you tell Kelly next year? What would you do? What do you think's going to change the club? What do you?
Well, it was funny because we were talking to kids this morning, and I just asked them to tell me things that they do for fun. Right. To have fun in their life. They mentioned, all sorts of things. Kids draw, kids play sport, they play with their pets, and then we went into choosing a career. Find a career that you like. And just your life becomes so much better. Whatever you do, if you think it's fun, you're going to be better at it. So I just hope the environment's better than what it was on what I was hearing last year. So if we create that environment where boys, you know, all the men obviously would want to be there and want to play and give their all and, you know, understand what their job is. You know, if it's fun, it's going to be better. You know, I know when I was playing footy, I spent a couple of years at the Roosters and I did enjoy it. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't fun. It was more of a job than it was fun. But yeah, it was more work than it was fun. And still the game, still obviously rugby league. And then I went to come and play for the Broncos after that, and it was just a completely different environment. You know, it was a lot more fun. And I knew how to catch a ball, knew how to tackle, but I just became a better player.
And a better human.
And a better person. Well, this job's taught me so much. You know, I've been in sport for 16 years with it, and the things that I've learned, you know, helps me become, you know, a better person by being a better employee, being a better dad, all that sort of things as well. So, you know, just make it fun. If it's not fun, it's hard work.
Oh, absolutely. And for leaders out there that are listening to this, we call that culture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Culture. And you know, I hear you talk about the culture in the club, right?
Yeah.
And that's sometimes hard, right? Because it only takes one person. And talking about books, you know, the All Blacks book. You know, they talk about the job interview. They quarantine them. You know, dickheads aren't welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we don't want to upset the culture in the club.
Yeah.
So it only takes one person. So there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 100%. It takes everyone. That's just not driven by one person.
No,
It's
that's
driven by
exactly
a lot.
right.
Yeah.
I think the one is don't take it for granted. And All Blacks are like that. I've read a couple of their stories. Is that they fear no opposition. They fear to put on the black jersey and give it the history that's behind it. Every person that's worn that jersey, they fear letting that jersey down than they do any other opposition. So Kevin's got to create an environment that I don't take advantage of it. Now I don't take it for granted, like Melbourne, which is a great thing. Every time they start at Melbourne, they've got to go out in the workforce and work 2 weeks, digging holes or whatever. So when they're finished, they go, that's not me.
I appreciate
what I've got, what I do. You know what I mean? So some people, they get given everything and then they start to then, you know, erode the culture or whatever, and erode the brand by taking advantage. And they always go, I mean, one of Wayne's good saying was, you know, it's not what the Broncos are going to do for you, what are you going to do for the Broncos? Because every young boy goes, I've got the hand out, where's my gear, where's my best boots, where's my jersey, where's my money? So I go, what can I do for the Broncos? Because if we do that, well, it's going to come back in spades, you know. So.
Let me ask you this: do you guys like this? This would be some of the most sort of valuable information that leaders can hear. Do you guys go to the Bronx, like as ex-players, and have this conversation with young guys? Like, how does it? I'm sure you.
Look, if we get invited, but we don't get invited, I mean, we don't really get invited. But it's not because of what we've got our own job to do.
Yeah.
You know, I know Kevin's around sporting.
Not really out of part.
Yeah,
We do it with the younger kids, like when they have like training academies or something, we go to affiliated clubs or speak about this sort of stuff.
Kevin's brought in an old boy once a week at the moment, right? So he started with Wally, Gino, Gillett, Glenn Lazarus,
Hancock.
No. He did Gordy the other day.
Oh, cool.
Gordy's been the best so far.
Has he
You know what I mean? And because how passionate he was, you know what I mean? But Gordy's been very vocal away from it as well, you know what I mean? But so, yeah, I mean, he's just trying to show it's a bit like Queensland turn, I suppose.
Yeah,
And when Mel was there, he brought back the older generation and what it was to wear a Queensland jersey. But sometimes we lose that a little bit. We lose the fabric about what it was to play and to wear that jersey, you know what I mean? So I'm sure Kevy's brought them back to say, you know, be proud to put on that Broncos jersey, you know what I mean? It's got a lot of history, it's got a lot of, you know, culture to it. Well, you know, culture's a bit of a little word we've sort of gone across from.
Pride.
Yeah, pride, probably more, yeah. And people that wore that jersey, but how important it is, you know, and you're on show whether you got that jersey on or not.
Absolutely, because you're the shop front for the organisation.
Yeah, well, we're the same. We haven't played for, you know, except for you know, but we make sure that we've got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And we're ex-players because the first thing they'll say is, Darren Burns, ex-Broncos player, done this, and this.
They won't forget your name, but they won't forget this.
Yeah.
Oh, we're that Bronco guy, forget his name, but he was an idiot or whatever, you know, like, there's repercussions.
Always on show.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's sad that it takes us to this age to work out that we are always on show.
Yep, right.
The younger generation just don't really get that yet, and it's sad to see. The one thing I take away from the All Blacks, Mick, is that we clean the dressing sheds. You know, they clean their own sheds. It's oh, shit, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, but their history is, you know, that when I read, do a lot of their things, you know, it's, you know, wow, unbelievable what they've achieved.
Yeah, absolutely. And so as a last sort of note, boys, biggest lesson from footy that you've taken into life?
So many.
Yeah, and why do you think about that? I'll let you percolate.
I just think quickly for me, like how much further you can go as a team working together than just by yourself. You know, by yourself, you can only go so far. And I see it in our workplace now. If we all working together, and we're going to be more efficient. And I think just the value of teamwork for me. Yeah.
Value of teamwork.
Yeah.
Wow. Which is
That's what we're trying to encourage the kids when we get out there. You know, all these benefits. Playing team sport.
Well, one thing we always tell our coaches that I'm responsible for is just trying to get the kids to compete. You know, we talked about winning there before. You don't talk about winning unless you're going to compete. You know, you won't win unless you compete. So don't worry about the scoreboard. Let us put the effort before the result. So and compete's not about winning. It's about how good a player are you today. Well, let's compete to make it so you're a better player. When this session finishes in an hour's time, you should be walking out here a better player. Why don't be that much better? Not because you compete in training. You're going to be better if you just keep competing, and you teach yourself to put the effort in. Well, eventually you have to win, whether it's on the football field or off the football field in life. So you'll start having success, become a competitor, I guess.
teamwork and compete.
Yeah.
Where I heard that was effort before results.
Yeah.
Focus on effort.
Yeah.
And the 1%ers that we sort of talked
The Origin team last year was a perfect example of that. They're never going to win. They weren't meant to win, but they had to put the effort in. And New South Wales didn't put the effort in.
So
The first half, second half, the first game. But they thought, oh, the game's won, we're up 16-6, we're meant to win. The media's telling us we're meant to win. You know, all they got going for was Wayne Bennett. That won't be enough, you know. But all of a sudden they just kept competing and they won.
I don't know
So
what he does at half time. What's he doing at half time?
But for them and all of us, I think we're caretakers. So the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Always will be. Because, hey, I'm only caretaking this for a bit. When I go, the Broncos will still be there, but it will be a different name on the back. And it happens all the time with jerseys, you know, like you only caretaker at the time, and you're going to leave it in a better place than before the last person before you come. Because the brand will always be there, right? It will always come and go. And we just got to make sure that we're just caretaking at the time and how we're going to leave it for the next person to come along and treat it, you know what I mean? So
A little bit better than you found it.
if you treat it like shit, it'll then be you're thinking about yourself, and it won't be there for nobody else to use, you know what I mean? Like I always say for older boys when we're doing high schools, or the other one said, you got brother and sister here? Yep. I said, well, you're caretaking, they're looking for you. If you treat it poorly, like the sport program, whatever, it'll get taken off and say your brother and sister never get to enjoy it because of your selfishness. But if you look after it and nurture it, everyone else will get to enjoy it as the years go on, you know? So,
Leave it better than you found it.
yeah.
Teamwork, effort before results. Always be competing.
Yep.
And I get that from a triathlon perspective. You know, they actually say you're always competing against yourself, but in real life you actually look at the bloke beside you because it's your mate. So I'm being your ass. Matt, last thing. What's footy taught you about life?
Ooh, come on, Matt.
Come on, mate.
You're into the bag.
Don't be quiet.
Still learning. No, for me it was just always doing my best. My dad used to always say, for any footy game, go hard or go home, and I think that implemented into me, into my sport, but you know, something that I use now to my kids, just do your best at school, but sport, education, whatever it is, you're doing your best, and at the end of the day, you know you've done your best, and nothing's not happening, at least inside you know, and your teammates know that you're always strong and do your best, and that's all you can do. But also, you know, enjoyment away from the footy life was a big one for me as well.
Right.
You know, obviously what you footy, but get away, switch off from footy and go away from it. And for me, it was like when I first having kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were a distraction from the footy field, and that allowed me to be my true self at home and stuff with them. But yeah, definitely just get away from footy, enjoying it, and like Bernie said, just the enjoyment at training as well, and enjoying the the Bronx environment. I think once they get back to that this year, and they've showed that this year in the pre-season that they are enjoying it. So hopefully those results transfer to the footy field.
Yeah, I think Wayne's looking at it, man in the mirror. So you're the one that looks yourself in the mirror each day, and what have you done? If you played well, you can look yourself in the mirror, but if you haven't, you're not going to do it.
I've done that when I used to play footy. Well, not, you know, I know I had a bad game, all that bad game, but I remember reading that when I was still playing, and I did that. I went in the mirror and said, "You played well today."
Yeah.
And you just get this feeling just comes over. You go, bullshit. Like you know when you play, you don't need to ask them in the mirror, obviously. But it actually does have an effect on you. Like you say, like you do a triathlon, I give 100% today. You know, like you'll know the answer.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so I like that one. It's like,
Oh, me too, that's a there's someone wrote a song about it actually.
Yeah.
I get the same name as you too.
Well, you look at Wayne's and thing as well, we used to get rewarded for our efforts, you know.
Yeah.
So there'd be days we'd say, well, we'll go on a, so we're playing on the Friday, we're not in Sydney, so we'll say to Wayne, if we play well, can we have the weekend off so we can go and enjoy the weekend? You know, and he'd say, yep, I don't know what, but there was times that we lost and we knew we played bad, but we won, and we said, right, we're back in tomorrow. Because we didn't earn the right to actually, we didn't play well. But there's other times that we played the best of our ability and lost, and we still got the weekend off because he said, you got beaten by a better team today. And that's going to happen all the time.
Well, 2001, remember we went through a bit of a losing streak there back into the season, and we were playing well, the effort was there, but we just weren't winning. And he said, we're going to have a week off. I forget that we played, but we played someone, and he said, I'll see you next Monday. No, sorry, I'll see you Friday before the next game. So see you on Friday for them. So we just had the captain drop. So we had Monday to Thursday off. He said, go and have fun, go and play golf. I remember saying, you like golf, go and play golf.
Yeah.
So if it was, a lot of us were playing golf back then, so we go and play golf with every day. Training, captain run Friday morning back. And
Don't pick up a newspaper, don't read it.
Yeah.
Was that the secret, was it? Get away from
And we played against Cronulla. We played Cronulla that weekend. We got beat, but we played well again.
Right.
And after the game, Wayne said, I don't know about you guys, but he said, that week I had off really refreshed me up. It was great. We're going to have another week off. So he actually gave us 2 weeks off in a row. And then we come back, we won our next game, and then we went through and got beat by Parramatta in the preliminary final to get into the grand final. So it was a bit of a method to his madness, but it worked. It just freshened everyone up. We went away, had fun. And,
Yeah, I love that. And
it was good.
so have fun outside work and have some time off.
Yeah.
And I love those words that Matt just said then. Find your true self. Holy shit, man. That's deep, right, for the quietest bloke here. For the apprentice.
Just doing what you want to do, like, pretty keep me happy.
Well, he came to me restaurant weekend. I thought it was a code for you dropped.
Oh,
You know, so he said,
serious?
Burns, he said you're tapering off a bit.
No.
He said, I want you to have this weekend off. You go back to Dolby. I'm from Dolby. So you go to Dolby, go and play golf. Go to the race with your dad. Your dad was a horse trainer. He said, don't watch the game. He said, the next week you'll be back in the team. I went, oh, I can't, whatever, that's nonsense. You know. So I did exactly that. I went to Dolby. The game was on the golf club on the TV channel. I
Watched it?
But no, I didn't. I was playing in Canberra. Went out and played golf. He told me not to watch it, so I didn't. And come back in. I forget whether I won or lost or not. But you know, Tuesday come training, named the side, and I was back on the side. And then in the side for the rest of the year.
Kept to his word.
Yeah.
And gave
I did
it
freshen you up, made you appreciate where you were, because you weren't there that weekend. You had fun playing golf. I knew where I wanted to be.
Mm.
And, so that's what makes him one of the best coaches.
You do that where you have to rate yourself and then come in Monday, if you play Friday, so a bit of accountability. You know, if you played, like for us when he was doing it, it was obviously out of 10, so an 8 was a pass of your game. You'd have to get up in front of the group and say, oh, I was a 7, I did this well and didn't do this too well. So I gave myself a 7, and Wayne would put his mark up on the board as well. And like sometimes I'm a bit far off. Yeah, just like, you know, if you had a bad game that week, you know, come in Monday, but get up in front of your group, you know, the men that you play the game with, and say what you did.
I remember Wayne used to do that too.
Oh, you
So you have to have a sheet.
Yeah.
Right, you got to, at the end of the day, he'd give you the sheet after the weekend, you'd write in, like, you got your team goals, and then you got individual goals, and things like that, and then he'd fill the stats in back then, except it was a video, right, so it's lovely white Trish used to fill it out, and, you know, next one he'd give you the score out of 10, and he'd have a couple of comments there, you know. This weekend we played like absolute garbage, and Chris Johns, you know, got a 3, he goes, you looked good in your gear. So instead of bagging up, he just come up with something, you look good in your gear.
Oh, too good, boys, too good. So, lads, you got to go somewhere else. You got to go and
thanks,
spice.
mate.
Hey, thanks, mate. This is a big thanks to Casey McGuire.
Good on you, Joe. Joe again.
Good on you, Joe. He will made his day. How much did you love these blokes?
Oh, off tap.
Oh, you've driven me nuts for years, man. So, the Broncos. Boys,
Thanks, mate.
and thank you, and Darren.
Pleasure,
Really
mate.
appreciate
Pleasure,
it.
mate.
Thanks, mate. Hopefully these guys are giving you some good
They are.
champions.
Good men.
Champions.
Good mentors.
Well, yeah, no worries, mate.